Hello and welcome to another quick video tutorial with KingTech Coding Clinic once again. So as I've already promised, in this video I'm going to show you another system we have developed for another client, and this time around the client needs a loans and contributions management system like local contribution and all that stuff, right? So now let's see what the client actually wanted. The client gave out what he wanted and we drafted this algorithm that we followed to develop the system. So now let's see what it holds here. So the first thing is that we are going to develop a database and interactive user forms for collecting members details such as what serial numbers, names, address, phone numbers, next of kin name, next of kin phone number, weekly contribution amount. So these are the details the client wants us to capture for each and every member. Also a database and interactive user form for recording members contribution. So we need a form for recording members contribution at a go. And also an interactive form to generate report for weekly summary calculation. So at the end of the week, they meet every Sunday they meet. So during the meeting, they would want to generate report for each and every individual to see their contribution, loans they have taken, the amount they've paid so far and all that, right? So they needed something like that. Also an interactive form to generate end of year report for the following data. So at the end of the year, each member they meet and then generate report for group and individual. So throughout the year, the amount you've contributed, the loan you've taken, what you've paid, the profit they were able to make out of the loans taken and interest paid by other individuals. They put that together and then do some basic sharing and whatever. So now let's look at what they need at the end of the year. So they needed a sum of what total contribution for every member. So at the end of the year, they would want to know each and every member the total amount they've contributed. Also total loan taken by each member. Okay, so they would want to know total loan taken by each and every member, and also members total contribution balance. Also the contribution balance, that is the total contribution balance for each and every member. Also interest due to be paid by each member. So each member's interest due to be paid. So they would want to know if you have taken loan, how much interest are you left to pay as an individual. They would want to also know the actual interest paid and the remaining interest owned. Also they would want to see the dividend amount, and also we will give them an interactive dashboard for easy data visualization and any other additional features they may require. So now after giving them this, they reply to us and then bringing our attention to the following. The item 1, according to them, we have captured everything that they want us to capture, exception of ID. So they would want us to include the ID cards and then ID numbers for each and every member as well. Also for the recording of members contribution, interest paid, loan received and loan part payments made should also be captured. And they would also want to have weekly summary calculations should also be generated for both individual members as well as the group, okay, as well. So we've already talked about that. And that weekly summary calculation or weekly summary report should contain the following: total contribution, total interest, total loan received, and then total loan back payment made. And also they would want another report which is group weekly summary calculation, which should also contain total contribution, total interest, and then total loan part payment received as well. And also total weekly income as well should also be captured on the group weekly summary report. They would also want to have balance brought forward from the previous week and then the current balance, which should be sum up of what all the activities for the week, including the balance brought forward. And also they would want to also get the total loan the group were able to give out to people, and they will also want to capture processing fee, which is also 1%. And then they would also want to have the weekly balance left over, and according to them the calculation should be what? Current balance minus total loan plus total processing fee. And also according to them, the item 4, we have captured details of end of the year reports, but we have left out dividends. So we have actually taken care of that as well, and then the net cash amount. So this is what the client needed. So now let's delve right into the system, log in and see what we have actually given to the client. So now let's look at that. So now this is the system here. So let's click on this login and then we log in the details. So there we go. So now once we are here, we have just one member so far, and then total members alone, no one, meaning no one has taken loan so far. So now you can see that the interface just looks similar to the other system. So that is that. Now let's look at where we're going to start from. So we're going to capture individuals, or that is the members details. So to do that, we hit this button here. we already have one member, so let me add another member. So let me just speed up this data entry, and then once we are done, we move on to the next line of action. All right, so for now we have captured 2 members in addition, so making it 3 members in all. So now we can work with these 3 members at a go. So now you can see the form consists of what? The full name of the member, the phone number, the address, the ID type, where we have this drop down list, the ID number, the name of the next of kin, the phone number of the next of kin, weekly contribution amount, the amount the person would want to be contributing each and every week, and then the date the person joined. Then we capture photo or picture details as well, so which I haven't captured because I don't need it actually here. So now after capturing the members details, the next thing is we look at members contribution. So at a point in time, members would want to contribute the amount of money they are going to be contributing each and every week. So we hit this button to start with that. So now with this, we have 2 options. At a point in time, the member might want to withdraw some amount. So if that is the case, you hit this, you toggle this to withdraw, but at this point we want to take care of what? Contribution. So with that, you just click on this to choose the member's ID. So once you choose the member's ID, this will populate the member's name here and then the contribution amount. So that is the name of the member is John Doe. The contribution amount is what? 5,000. So the purpose is what? Contribution. Perfect. So now let me just quickly copy this so that we can copy and paste. So now the amount is going to contribute. So you can see the current balance for this member is 0.0 because he hasn't contributed anything. So now the first contribution is 1,000. So we go ahead and save. So now let's grab another member and do the contribution for another member as well. So his contribution is 400 cedis. So we update that. Sorry, that is Papers' contribution. Sorry, and then the amount is what? 400. So you can see his current balance is also what? 400. Sorry, 0.00. So we save. So now let's go for the third person. We're going to contribute each and every one of them like twice. Then we move forward to the next line of action. So his contribution is 700 cedis. So Purpose' contribution, the amount is what? 700 cedis. So we go ahead and then save. There we go. So now let's grab the first person again. So now you can see that the balance for the first person is what? 5,000 because has contributed 1. So contribution again, and then another contribution that's 5,000 again, and then we go ahead and save. So we grab the second person again, and then you can see that contribution is the balance is 400. So another contribution is going to be made 400. Then we save. And then finally the third person again, then we should be good to go. 700. So another contribution also 700, and then we go ahead and save. So now we have captured at least two contribution, twice contribution for each and every member. So in all we have 6 contributions. So there we go. Now let's look at loan. Let's say one of these members wants to take a loan. So how are we going to do that? So we hit this button and then we grab that. So the first thing we're going to do is to generate the loan ID for the person. So we click on this to generate loan ID. So we grab the member's details here. Okay, so we just choose this and then we have the name of the member populated here and then the phone number of the member here. So the date the person is taking the loan, let's say 31st, okay? Or let me just switch back to, let's say 15th of January. And then the principal amount, how much is the person taking? Let's say the person is taking like 5,000 or let's say 2,000 cedis. So after capturing this, that is all you need to capture. As for the interest amount, we want that to be auto calculated, okay? We want the interest amount to be auto calculated, and then the total and everything should be auto calculated. So once we enter this, I think what we need to do is to hit on calculate. So once you hit on calculate, everything here is going to be populated, and that will give you the interest percent, which is what? 0.03, and also the interest amount is what? 60 Ghana cedis. So the total, which includes principal plus interest, is what? 2,060 cedis. We also have the processing fee, which is what? 0.01%, and then the amount, processing fee amount is what? 20.60. So the loan amount is now that is 2,039 cedis.40 pesos. So the outstanding balance principal, that is after taking out the processing fee, the person goes home with what? 1,979.40. And outstanding interest, the person hasn't paid interest yet, so which is what? 60 Ghana cedis, and then the phone number. So once we are done with everything, we go ahead and click on save. So now let's look at something here. So now the person has paid a loan. Now let me show something here and let's see what's going to happen. Now when I hit on this settings button, what happens is that the person would want the loan ID generated to start with what? The name of maybe the first characters of what the name of the group, which in this case their group is called Whole Drivers Susu Group, right? So we are using HD. So I gave them the option to enter that prefix here, and also we have the loan interest rate, so they'll enter that here. Anytime they would want to change it, they can just come up to this setting and do the changes here. Also, the loan processing fee rate is 0.01, so they'll enter that here. Then the balance brought forward, let's assume they were already using a different system elsewhere, and now they are migrating to a new system. So they would want to, maybe the amount of money they would want to continue with the new system, with that becomes the balance brought forward. So at this point, let me set that to 0 because we are not coming with any amount. So now the dividend percentage. So with the dividend, it's also part of what the profit that is shared among the members at the end of what? The year. So the percentage for each member is what? 0.5. So once all these settings are done, just go ahead and click on submit. So that settings is also going to take effect now. So now the person has taken a loan, and then contribution was made, loan taken also. So now let's see how payment of loan is done. Okay. So, but before we do that, okay, I think we've just captured that. Now, before we do that, let's look at this. So, loan repayment. So, if the person is coming to pay for a loan, the first thing you're going to do is to quickly click on this, and then he is the only person who has taken loan. So, you click on this, then you search. So, that gives you details about the person's what? Outstanding balance, which is principal, and then outstanding interest, the person's serial number, and then the membership ID, the full name. So now the person is coming to pay a certain amount. So unlike the previous system that I showed you, if you haven't watched that, you can check the link in the video description. You're able to get that right. So this one, you can pay any amount of your choice. Unlike the previous one, where it is stated the amount you have to pay each and every month or week or day. This system, this particular client wants it open, so you can pay any amount of your choice. So let's say I would want to pay, like, let's say 400 cedis. Okay, for the first time. In the date, I'm going to make this payment, let's say 24th, and then I'll click on save. There we go. So now let me reset the form again and then grab another one. So now let's search once again. So now you can see this has reduced, and also the outstanding interest has also reduced. So anytime an amount is paid, it's going to be splitted, and part is going to be used to pay the interest and part for the principal. So that is what happened here. So let's pay another amount, which is what? Another, let's say 500 cedis. So we choose another date, somewhere 29th, and then we click on save. There we go. So now let's close the form and let's relaunch the form once again. So we have these two contributions, the payments made. So now let's search and look at the balances now. So you can see we have outstanding principal balance is 1,079, and then outstanding interest is what? There's 33 cedis because some payments were made. So that is how payment of loan is, or repayment of loan is done, right? So you continue that to make payment for each and every member. So now let's look at how reports are being generated. So to start with, let's quickly look at the individual weekly summary report. So to generate that, we first of all just hit this button here, and this one pops up. So now what we need to do is to choose the date range. Now, since everything happened within the same month, that is January, let me just start from the 1st January, and we remember the contributions we took, we selected that is 31st as the date. So we choose up to 31st, and then we grab the members ID, okay, and quickly we click on generate. Now let me just use a different members ID here, like the third person, and let's see something. Let's click on generate. So you can see that this person's name is what? Kumayao, and then the total contribution made by the person is what? 1,400. He was paying 700 cedis per month, sorry, per week. He hasn't taken any loan, and then for that matter, nothing like principal paid or interest paid. Let's go for the second person as well and generate. So Cynthia, the same thing. She was paying 400 cedis and she paid twice. Total contribution is what? 800 cedis. She hasn't received any loan, hence no payment here. So everything is showing 00. Let's grab the first person and then click on generate. So now you can see that the person's name is what? John Doe. He was contributing 5,000 cedis per week. So he contributed twice. It sum up to what? 10,000. He went for a loan on an amount of what? 2,000, and then he made principal payment of what? 900, and then interest paid is what? 27 cedis. So now this report can simply be printed. So you just hit this print, and then we can just name it by the name of the person. Let's say John Doe weekly report. So let's say JDW report, something like that, and hit enter. So we should have that report generated, and we can close this so we can view that report from here. And there we go. So we have the name and every details about that report is generated for that person, so the person can use this as their report. So now let's look at the group weekly report. So activity that happened within the group for each and every member. Let's see how we can grab that report. So we hit this button here, and what is going to happen is, so since this is the first time, balance brought forward is 0. So now let's grab the report, that is the date range from this to this. So now since this is group, there is nothing like choosing anybody's membership ID. So we click on generate. So you can see that this populated total contribution made, which is what, 12,200. Total interest received, that is the total interest that is paid, which is what, 27 cedis. Only one member. Loan amounts received from the members is only one member, which is 900 cedis. So weekly income is what, 13,129 based on contribution and then this and that. And also balance brought forward is now 0. So current balance is what, 13,127. Then total loan given out, the amount of loan you've given out, like members have taken, is only one member, which is what, 2,000 cedis. And then total processing fee is also 20.6. It's only one person, right? So the weekly balance left over is what, 11,147.6. So now this becomes what, the balance brought forward for the next week. So this is this report. So we can equally print this report. So just hit on print, and then we print this report. We call it group weekly report. There we go, hit enter. So we have that as well. So we close. You can close using this one, you cannot close using this one. So now let's quickly minimize this and check that report as well. And there we go. So we have group weekly summary report that gives you summary of everything you can have here. So now let's proceed to the next one. Let's look at individual year. So at the end of the year, each individual must have their report generated. So now let's see how we can grab that as well. So it's just similar to what, the weekly. So now we grab the beginning of the, let's say this happened on the 1st of January 2025, and then the December, which is what, let's say 31st December 2025. And then which member is that? This member. So now let's click on generate report. So this will populate everything about the person. He contributed 1,000, and then contribution balance is now what, 8,900. That is because of the loan issues, right? And then loan interest due to be paid is left to paid. The amount of interest to be paid is what, 60 cedis. And then loan interest paid is what, 27. And then loan interest owned, that is the one that is left. This was the interest he has to pay, and he has paid this, and this is what is left for him to pay. So this will just give summary of this person. So let's grab another person as well and click on generate. And this person hasn't taken a loan, so you can see that contribution balance remains the same. So ideally, if you have taken a loan at the end of the year, the interest you are left to pay, and then the principal will be taken out of your remaining contribution. So you grab that contribution together with what, maybe the dividend or net cash amount or whatever that is going to be added from the profit generated by the group, right? So that will be added to you. So this person hasn't taken a loan, so he is working with a clean slate. And now let's check the last person as well. Click on generate, and you realize that the same thing, this person hasn't also taken a loan, so everything is just in order as well. So now the last report, that is group yearly summary report as well. So we choose this for the entire group, 1st January towards December 31st, right? So December 31st, and then we click on generate. So that gives you summary of all the members and everything, right? So total contribution is 12,200. Total loan taken is 2,000. Total contribution balance is 11,067. Interest due to be paid 60 cedis. Interest paid 27 cedis. Interest owned 33 cedis. Dividend amount is what, 1,200, and that is 12,167. Dividend is what, 60.835. So this will be an amount or the profit generated, and so this is going to be shared among each and every member according to the client. That is what they want, right? And we also have the net cash amount, which is what, that is 11,127.835. So basically this is what this client wanted, and then we have given them exactly what they also wanted, and everything is looking good as well. So now you can see that immediately I launched the form, the balance brought forward is automatically picked from here. That was the balance or the amount of money raised for the previous week, so it becomes the balance brought forward for the upcoming week. So basically that is how this amazing system works. And thank you so much. So if you want something like this, we can take our time. Just give us exactly what you want, and we will sit down and craft it, develop the system for you the way you want it, right? If you also want to learn how to develop this kind of system, you can join our mentorship program. Today happens to be the last day. The mentorship starts tomorrow. That is what, the 1st of February 2025. It's going to be a 3-month mentorship program. If you don't want to be late, then check out the link in the video description. Join the group. Quickly go ahead and then subscribe, join, and we are going to mentor you, and you'll be able to learn how to develop this kind of system and also make money out of it. So basically that is that. If you want similar system develop for you, just get in touch, and then we will do exactly that for you. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video. Bye.